when you are ready.
Hi, I'm Regan, and this is my IWA presentation on social media and its effects on Generation Z. My argument is Generation Z uses social media as its main source of communication and is the most technologically advanced generation compared to other generations. And in my picture it shows the youth Generation Z on their cellular devices communicating. They could be communicating with each other or across the world. What I researched. I did research on how Generation Z communicates and how reliant Generation Z is on everyday technology. What I learned from my sources, I learned that 65% of Generation Z prefer to communicate online than in person because they find it more reliable and quicker. And as my second source said, due to Generation Z's access to technology, they also expect rapid responses while communicating. So they don't expect to wait while waiting because of what they're used to through the technology during their lifetime. They're used to getting quick responses through email, text, social media, and such. What I learned, Generation Z averages around 6 hours a day online, and around 96% of Generation Z own a smartphone. Communicate, and like we said, social media is one of the main ways they communicate, so they have those on their smart devices. Due to Generation Z's access to technology, they are actually more interactive with friends than previous generations, because before time you'd have to send a letter if you want to talk to a friend or ride your bike over to your friend's house, and now you can text them and ask if they want to come over. And that's just one of the many ways they use technology to communicate. And in this picture, it shows it just gives a little inference of how they're connected: technology, visual, social, realist, and educated. This chart shows Generation Z's most used platforms. So I'm going to move to this side. So as you can tell, YouTube is the most used on here with 50%. Snapchat at 35%. Facebook and YouTube views at 23%. And when they asked which platform do you prefer for a good laugh, 51% said YouTube. As you can tell, it seems to be the favorite out of all the technology and Generation Z social media. Which platform do you prefer for how to find info? 66% said YouTube. Normally, you go on Google, look it up. Now they're looking at videos on how to search it, which is just another change of what we're not used to due to the technology access Generation Z has had in their lifetime. This chart shows how Generation Z how much time, hours a day, Generation Z spends on their phones. As you can tell, 45 to 0.5% of Generation Z spend 3 to 6 hours on their phone a day. Then 26.1% spend 1 to 3 hours. 17.1% spend 6 to 9 hours. 9% spends 10 hours, and 2.2% have no phone. Also right here, it has the age of when people relatively get a smartphone. As you can tell, age 13 is when it normally starts, around when you hit the teenage section, which is most of Generation Z, because that's that platform from 5 to 25. 22.8% get theirs around 16 to 19. 2% don't have a phone, and this just shows normally back then when they didn't have the cellular technology, you couldn't just go out and text like you can now. But as you can tell now, when you hit your teenage stage, that's when you start getting your phone. You can start texting your friends, and it just makes it quicker and more accessible to communicate. The problem with my argument is the millennial generation, which is the generation right before Generation Z, is also very fluent in technology and they have adapted to the technological advance we live in today. Another problem with the millennials would be how they have been in the workforce longer than Generation Z. As I said, Generation Z, the oldest is around 25 years old. That's when you start getting out of college and looking for work. So as the technology in work continues to advance, so were the millennials as they were working with the technology, which gave them a really good viewpoint on how technology is and caught them up to the Z generation. The solution would be how Generation Z continues to strive in technology by the way they communicate all the way to how they work and live their everyday lives. as example, like I said, Generation Z grew up in technology. We were born into it. So in that view case, we've only known technology, as the millennial generation grew up without the technological advances we actually have today. So yes, they've been working with them, and technology came to them at an older age, maybe they could understand it more, but they were not born into technology like Generation Z was, so that's not all they know. All Generation Z knows is technology, what makes it more of a need, I guess you could say, for Generation Z, and that's how we see it. Our limitations would be, even though Generation Z continues to strive and work towards being the best at technology, the millennials will also strive. As I said, they've been in the workforce longer, they've worked with technology longer than Generation Z has, and until they go off, as every generation will, they will continue to have the most experience in work with technology until Generation Z is able to enter and strive. A limitation: millennials have more resources to technology, and as they have been in the work field way longer than the upcoming Generation Z, as I said, Generation Z, we're just now walking into the workforce, as the millennials have been working with technology this whole time.
Okay. So how did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
Well, in my references, the viewpoints were on like degree workers in high prestige colleges. Yale was one of them where they did one of the studies, and it kind of just came from a more experienced generation and their viewpoint on Generation Z, so how they saw us and how the study showed that they did on Generation Z, and just kind of what they obtained from that information.
What advice would you have for other researchers who consider your topic?
I would definitely try to find websites that have these studies that kind of go out and ask Generation Z what they are doing, like the studies that I had in my, what I learned, how it was like 65% Generation Z prefers to communicate online than in person, because studies like that are what you're really going to need to kind of defend your topic that you have.
Okay, thank you.